sober, what will happen in the summer with LeBron James? What are we going to have? Another decision, too, if he's going to possibly go to another team and announce on national television where he's going to go?
I don't think so.
I hope not.
How funny would it be if him and Carmelo Anthony went to the Lakers?
That's a possibility. You can't rule it out because the Lakers know that they don't know how much time is left with Kobe Bryant, how long Kobe will be there.
Right. So they bring these two guys in to finish Kobe's career, and then Kobe leaves, and these two guys take over the Laker organization.
Yeah, and that's a good point, too.
That's crazy, huh?
It's crazy, but with Carmelo Anthony, though, Jeff, I still don't see it happening where he would go from New York to L.A. Apparently, I'll never forget, when the trade was made, when Carmelo went from Denver to New York, Carmelo has loved being a New York Knick ever since that trade was made a few years ago.
Well, he grew up there.
He grew up in New York and went to Syracuse University.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's a New Yorker at heart. But you never know. He's never been on the free agent market. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nobody can offer him as much as the Knicks can, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I don't think people in Denver really miss him because the Nuggets were able to win without Carmelo Anthony. They were able to get to the playoffs without Carmelo, and of course they were upset in the first round against Golden State. And that's another question you get to. You know, you think about these new coaches. You got Jason Kidd being the Brooklyn Nets' new head coach. I wonder how well Brian Shaw will do in Denver, Jeff.
I don't know, but I don't see Jason Kidd lasting long there.
I don't see it happening either. What kind of experience can he bring to Brooklyn? I can't picture Kidd as a coach right now, but he is.
And I'm shocked that George Karl doesn't have a job.
Yeah,
he's on
but
ESPN.
Right now he's an analyst for ESPN.
Yeah, I mean a coaching job.
Oh yeah, I know what you meant. But he's
crazy.
off doing ESPN. But I can expect that somebody will make a move to get George Karl there. Somebody will make maybe a pitch and say, hey, how would you like to coach again? That's exactly what happened in 2005. The Nuggets, with Kiki Vanderway, they let go of Jeff Bezdelik, who was the coach of the Nuggets. And then, after that, they called George Karl, and then they gave Karl the job. And George Karl did a heck of a job with Denver. And, of course, I still am shocked that Denver let him go. They fired him after he did a great job with the Nuggets team. And sure, it's because they didn't get past the first round, too.
Maybe the Knicks told George Karl to sit out the season so they can get him next year.
Yeah, because you're not very thrilled still with the Knicks having the current coach right now.
I'm not a fan of the coach, not one bit.
Mike Woodson.
I don't like him at all. Not one bit.
And, of course, your dream was to get Phil Jackson as the coach of the Knicks, too.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I'd like to see George Karl over there. That would be nice.
I think Phil Jackson's days are done.
Oh, he doesn't want to coach no more.
No, he says, look, I've done a good job. I'm the Zen master. I've won 11 championship rings, more than any other NBA coach.
Yeah, no, he wants to be a GM and put everything together now. That's what he wants to do.
Yeah, wants to do it with the Pistons, which is so surprising. But you got to remember how close Phil Jackson was last year to getting about this time of getting the coaching job with the Lakers, and they had the deal in place. But I'll never forget how you and I did a show back in November of last year, and we were just stunned because it was like, how the heck can that happen? Get Mike D'Antoni instead of Jackson. It just didn't make sense.
Well, that's Jim Buss's fault. Nobody else's fault. And nobody else's fault. His fault and his fault alone. Nobody else's fault but Jim Buss's fault. Can't blame that on nobody but him. He screwed the pooch on that one. That's why the Lakers are going to be crap until he stops running the organization and lets his sister do it.
Yeah, and that's the reason why Magic Johnson says that there shouldn't be a lot of optimism down in L.A., especially with, the Lakers knowing that Kobe's going to be out for a while. Dwight Howard took a leave to go to Houston, which was a huge trade. The Lakers could be in bad shape. They may not have a good team this year. Like what Magic says, can Kobe and Gasol and Nash really help this team out? Can they win a lot of games and be a threat in the Western Conference? I just don't see it happening.
No, I don't see it either.
Because Oklahoma City's going to be tough. The Thunder are. Dallas might come back. Who knows how well Mark Cuban is going to run things. And I knew Mark Cuban was not happy that the Mavericks didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yeah, he was on Jay Leno last night. Mark
Oh,
Cuban.
you watched?
Yeah. He was on Jay Leno last night. He says they're going to be good this year. They'll be in the playoffs. Yeah, right.
Be interesting and see how well and how healthy Dirk Nowitzki will be.
It'll be very, very interesting, my friend.
Because, Jeff, here's the thing. When you think about it, Dirk Nowitzki has to be healthy for the Mavericks to win games. And Rick Carlisle will have a lot of work to do to make sure the Mavericks try to get back to winning a championship since 2011. But Mark Cuban wanted that ring so bad because the Mavericks, he put together so many great Maverick teams, and then they just couldn't win big playoff games. And then they finally beat Miami in 2011.
Finally.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cuban was so upset that his heart was
right.
broken every time the Mavericks lost.
So what I want to do right now is the NBA has 3 divisions in the East and 3 divisions in the West, right?
Right.
Okay. Tomorrow we're going to be starting, not tomorrow, but on Friday, Sean and I are going to be starting our dismissals of our NBA teams to see who's going to win the championship, correct?
Correct.
Like we did last year. We're going to dismiss 2 teams apiece every week, every Friday in the NBA until there's 1 team left, correct? For each of us. And we'll be starting that tomorrow on Friday. But right now, while I got Sean here, what I thought we'd do with the last 15 minutes of the show, he doesn't know about it, I'm just springing it on him right now. We're going to pick our division winners.
Okay, I got to open up a Word document here because this is something new.
Yeah, see, he doesn't even know about it. I just sprung it on him right now. We're going to pick our division winners in the NBA. So the East, you have the Atlantic, the Central, and the Southeast. And in the West, in the Western divisions, you have the Northwest, the Pacific, and the Southwest. Okay?
Yeah, hold on here, Jeff. I just got to get to the standings and look at the teams here. Here we go.
Okay, so in the Atlantic division, you know who I'm picking. I'm picking the Knicks to win that.
Okay, hold on. In the Atlantic, you're picking the Knicks.
Yes, that's what I said. What did I stutter?
I know.
Did I stutter?
Just get it down, buddy. Atlantic division, the Celtics had owned it, but I will probably go with your Knicks, Jeff. I just think that that they'll have a lot of power on their team, and JR and Melo and Amare and all the talent that they built up. They're going to be tough this year. I'm going to go with the Knicks.
Now, the Central Division, you know what I'm thinking? The Central Division is kind of tough because you got the Pacers, who are pretty good. You got Chicago with the whatchamacallit coming back. Milwaukee's supposed to be better. Cleveland's supposed to be better. I'm going to say Indiana wins this division, though. With Chicago being really close.
That, Jeff, that's a good pick when you think about it, because you got to keep in mind the Indiana Pacers took Miami to a 7th game last year. And if they stay healthy, they could do a lot of things in that Eastern Conference. By a slight margin, I'm going to go and agree with you. I'll take Indiana Pacers to win that.
Yeah, by a slim margin over Chicago,
just
right?
real slight.
Yeah. With I think Cleveland right behind that, and maybe Milwaukee and then Detroit. I think that's how that division is going to go. Just saying. Over there in the Southeast, it's you got to call Miami, don't you? You got no choice but to call Miami, right?
Yeah, Southeast Division, you got to go heavy favorite for Miami. So Jeff has taken Miami, and I will take Miami. So we can agree on the division winners.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go something different here. I'm going to go Miami, Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington, Orlando. How about that? That's just something to throw at you there.
All right. Well, I put Miami Heat there anyway for the division.
Over in the West.
Western Conference.
Over in the West, you got the Northwest with Utah, Portland, Minnesota, Oklahoma City, and Denver. I'm going with the Thunder.
Yeah, I have to agree. This is so easy, Jeff, when you think about it. The Thunder have Kevin Durant. Scotty Brooks has done a heck of a job with the team. So, yeah, it's easy. I'll pick the Thunder with you, too. So we're pretty perfect right now, but I know we'll disagree on one eventually.
In the Pacific, Clippers won it last year, correct?
The Clippers took the division last year because, remember, the Lakers were the 8th seed and Golden State got in there, barely. Well, actually, not barely. They were a good team under Mark Jackson.
I'm going to pick the Golden State Warriors to win this division.
Ooh.
The Bridges.
So, Jeff.
I'm picking the Bridges.
Jeff, Golden State Warriors. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this is such a tough one.
I think with the Clippers right behind
I don't
them.
think. Go ahead.
I think with the Clippers right behind the Golden State Warriors.
This is a tough one for me, Jeff, and this is the first time we're going to actually disagree. Phoenix, they're going to need a lot of rework, rebuilding. Sacramento, same thing. By a slight edge, I'm going to go. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to go with the LA Clippers to win that Pacific Division.
That's fair. Yeah, I think Golden State's going to win it by a small margin over the Clippers, and you think that the Clippers are going to win it.
I think they'll win the division. Depending on how far they get in the playoffs, that's debatable.
Right, okay. This next division is fun. The Southwest Division, you got San Antonio, Memphis, Houston, Dallas, and the Pelicans. I bet you Sommer was waiting for that.
Yeah, I bet he was too.
Okay, so this one's tough because you don't know how Houston's going to do. You don't know what the heck Dallas is going to do. I'm not even going to touch the Pelicans. Okay? I'm not even worried about that. And then you got to deal with Memphis. Right?
It's a really tough to call here, too.
I happen to think that San Antonio's pissed from last season.
I agree a lot because the Spurs know perfectly well that they had the opportunity to beat the Heat, and they still haven't gotten over the nightmare of losing Game 6 and losing Game 7. So San Antonio is probably saying, this year let's be on a mission because you don't know how many years Duncan has left and Ginobili has left, and you don't know how long maybe Greg Popovich will be there. But Greg's going to be a Hall of Famer anyway. He's done a great job with them.
This is a tough one to pick.
I'm flustered, too. I really don't know.
You don't know what Houston's going to do. Memphis is an ass kicker in this division here. And San Antonio went to the NBA Finals last year. I'm going San Antonio. I really like that team a lot. I'm a big Spurs fan. They got they got a former San Diego State player on there that I used to go watch him play. He was really big for him last year. I'm going with San Antonio. The only team you don't have to really worry about.
It's really tough.
Sean.
With Dallas, you wonder if Mark Cuban will have the team ready to go again because he'll want to see good things out of them.
Hey, Sean, the only team you really don't have to worry about in that Southwest Division is New Orleans.
Yeah, well, I'm ruling the Pelicans out immediately. Memphis, they played San Antonio tough in the Western Conference Finals last year. They lost in a sweep. Houston, it'll be interesting to see how well they do with Dwight Howard. But I'll agree with you too, Jeff. I'll go with San Antonio Spurs. So it's like we agree on 5 out of 6 for the division winners.
Wow, we suck. Wow. And don't forget,
it's a long season. We'll see.
Don't forget starting this Friday, we will be dismissing 2 NBA teams a week on every Friday until we come up with our final team who we think, me personally and Sean personally, think going to be the NBA champion. Hey, Sean, really quick, we're halfway through the season in the NFL.
Yeah, and I'm glad we were talking NFL, Jeff, because this is continuing to be a huge debate. I know we're talking. I know where you're going at, but I got to go with something different because the NFL and this Indian Nation on Wednesday asked NFL executives to sanction Washington Redskins owner Daniel Snyder for detrimental to the league for continuing to use a team nickname and mascot that, quote, promote a dictionary